Beloved, tonight as you prepare to close your eyes, know that you are not simply drifting into rest. You are stepping into the kingdom of abundance that already exists within you. The world teaches you to strive, to struggle, to worry, but the divine law whispers that wealth is not something you chase, it is something you awaken to. When you sleep, your conscious mind grows still, and your subconscious becomes the fertile garden of creation. Every word, every vibration, every thought planted in that garden bears fruit. Tonight, as you listen to these words and these frequencies, you are planting seeds of prosperity, harmony, and divine supply. Wealth is not far from you. It is already yours. What you claim in spirit, you shall see in form. As you drift into sleep, affirm silently within, I am one with infinite substance. I am aligned with the river of supply. All that is mine by divine right now flows to me without effort, without delay, without struggle. These words are not mere sounds. They are commands to the unseen forces that govern your life. They open the doors that fear has kept shut, and they summon opportunities, ideas, and blessings that were waiting for your recognition. The law of wealth is exact, unchanging, and unfailing. Just as the sun rises without your effort, so does abundance come when you align yourself with truth. You need not force, you need not beg, you need not worry. You need only to rest in the knowing that the divine has already prepared every supply you could ever need. Your only task is to accept. Sleep tonight in the consciousness of riches. See yourself surrounded by gold, by beauty, by freedom. Feel the joy of debts released, the peace of bills paid, the excitement of doors opening where once there were walls. Know that the frequency you listen to is not magic of the earth, but harmony with divine order. It is the song of plenty, the vibration of supply, the music of answered prayer. Tomorrow you will rise renewed. You will rise magnetic to wealth. Ideas will come to you like golden birds carrying gifts. People will appear with answers, with opportunities, with blessings that feel like miracles. But they are not miracles. They are law. The same law that governs the stars governs your prosperity. Tonight you are aligning with the truth that money, success, and abundance are not outside of you. They are within you, flowing from the limitless substance of the universe. Listen, believe, and rest. For as you sleep, the frequency of wealth rearranges your life, draws to you your good, and prepares you to awaken tomorrow in riches of mind, body, and spirit. Wealth is already within you, waiting to be awakened through alignment with divine law. This truth is eternal and unchanging, though the world has often taught you to see wealth as something outside yourself, something to chase, something to grasp at, something dependent on effort, struggle, or chance. Yet the great law of life declares that what you seek is already yours. You are not a beggar in a world of scarcity, you are a divine being created in abundance, carrying within you the keys to open the vaults of unlimited supply. Wealth is not first a material possession, it is first a vibration, a state of consciousness, a recognition of your oneness with infinite substance. To awaken to wealth is not to demand it from the world, but to align yourself with the truth that you and abundance are one. When you live in this awareness, the outer world simply reflects what you already carry within. Consider for a moment the air you breathe. You never wonder if there will be enough oxygen for you tomorrow. You never panic about its supply. You simply breathe freely knowing it is provided. So it is with wealth in its true form. The universe is a treasury that never depletes, a storehouse that never empties, a fountain that never runs dry. What keeps you from experiencing it is not the lack of supply, but the belief in lack, the fear of loss, the anxiety of not having. The moment you surrender those false beliefs and align yourself with divine law, you find that wealth begins to appear in the most natural ways. Opportunities you once overlooked become clear. Pathways that seemed blocked open easily. What was hidden comes into sight because your consciousness is no longer clouded by fear. Divine law is simple and exact as within, so without. What you hold in your inner world determines what you see in your outer world. If you hold the belief that wealth is scarce, that money is hard to earn, that opportunities are limited, then life will reflect that belief to you again and again. But when you change your inner vision, when you declare that you are already rich in spirit, already aligned with infinite supply, already one with prosperity, Life bends to meet that recognition. Wealth is drawn to the consciousness that expects it, welcomes it, and claims it without doubt. It is not arrogance to believe you are meant for abundance, it is truth. Poverty is not humility, it is simply a mistaken belief that must be released. Awakening to the wealth within is not about greed, for greed comes from fear of not having enough. True wealth consciousness is peace, freedom, generosity, and joy. It is knowing that you can give without losing, share without depleting, and bless others without diminishing your own blessings. The universe is rich enough for all, and by aligning with this law you become a channel through which prosperity flows not only to you but through you to others. You become a vessel of circulation, allowing money, opportunities, and resources to move in and out of your life with ease, always returning multiplied. The more you give, the more you receive, because divine law is circulation, not stagnation. The awakening begins in your thoughts, in your words, and in your faith. To align with divine law, you must speak abundance, think abundance, and act in faith as if you already have abundance. Every complaint about lack, every worry about money, every word of fear reinforces the old pattern of scarcity. But every word of gratitude, every declaration of wealth, every image of prosperity plants a seed in your subconscious that grows into a harvest of riches. To align is to be disciplined in your inner speech, to refuse the temptation to agree with appearances, and to stand firm in the truth that wealth is already yours. When you look at your bank account, you may see numbers that appear small, but divine law does not deal in numbers, it deals in substance. Substance is the invisible supply that fills every need. When you align yourself with substance, the numbers change, opportunities expand, doors open. Do not allow appearances to dictate your belief. Appearances shift, but truth remains constant. Wealth within you is not diminished by the figures in your account, nor is it increased by them. It is steady, unchanging, infinite, waiting for your recognition so it may flow into visible form. Aligning with divine law means trusting timing, trusting process, trusting that the supply you need will come exactly when you need it. Fear rushes, grasps, panics. Faith rests, allows, and knows. When you release your tight grip on how, when, and from where the money will come, you make space for it to arrive in ways you could never have planned. Divine law is not limited to your logic. It moves through people, circumstances, ideas, and channels that may surprise you. Aligning means releasing the burden of control and standing in expectancy, knowing that your good is on the way. To awaken wealth within, see yourself differently. Stop seeing yourself as someone who lacks, as someone who struggles, as someone who is behind. See yourself as already prosperous, already provided for, already walking in abundance. Change the picture in your mind, and life will match it. If you see yourself as a magnet for wealth, wealth comes. If you see yourself as unlucky, life reflects that image. You hold the brush that paints the canvas of your reality, and your subconscious mind will faithfully reproduce whatever image you choose. Wealth is already within you, not in the sense of something you must build, but in the sense of something you must awaken. It is like a treasure chest buried in the ground. You need not create the treasure, it is already there. You simply need to uncover it, to remove the soil of doubt, fear, and limiting beliefs that cover it. Divine law provides the tools: affirmations, faith, gratitude, vision, and alignment. Use them, and the wealth hidden within will rise to the surface, shining in your life as health, money, opportunities, and freedom. The truth of wealth is not reserved for a chosen few, it is the birthright of every soul. The law makes no distinction. It responds to faith, not status. It responds to belief, not struggle. It responds to alignment, not effort. You are not excluded. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. The same law that supplies the flowers of the field, the birds of the sky, the stars in their courses, supplies you. To align is simply to claim what has always been yours, and to live as though it were already done. Sleep opens the subconscious, the fertile ground where prosperity seeds are planted. When you lay your head upon the pillow, your conscious mind begins to loosen its grip, and the chatter of the day fades away. In that quiet space, the subconscious rises to receive impressions, images, and vibrations without resistance. The subconscious is like rich soil, always ready to produce according to what is sown. If you sow fear before sleeping, you wake to worry. If you sow gratitude and abundance before sleeping, you wake to opportunities and blessings. The hours of sleep are not empty, they are hours of creation, where the mind reshapes itself and prepares the conditions of tomorrow. The seeds planted in sleep grow roots deep in the unseen, and then break through into the visible world in the form of experiences, circumstances, and outcomes. Every night you are programming your destiny, whether you realize it or not. The thoughts and feelings you carry into sleep travel inward, bypassing the conscious guard, and settle into the fertile soil of the subconscious. If you close your eyes with fear about money, with regret about the past, with worry about the future, you are planting weeds. These weeds take root and choke out the harvest of prosperity that could have flourished. But if you close your eyes in faith, in gratitude, in expectancy, you are planting golden seeds that cannot fail to produce abundance. Sleep is not merely rest for the body, it is transformation for the soul. It is the time when divine law works most freely, unhindered by your doubts, unhindered by your conscious resistance. To understand the power of sleep, consider the farmer. He does not dig up the soil each morning to see if his seed is growing. He trusts the process. He plants in faith, waters the ground, and allows nature to perform its miracle in the dark. So it is with the subconscious mind. When you plant the seed of wealth before sleep, you must trust that it is working, even though you cannot yet see it. Your dreams, your subconscious impressions, your inner pictures are silently shaping your reality. And if they are planted with prosperity, then prosperity must come forth. The law is certain. The subconscious never judges, it simply reproduces what is given to it. If you feed it images of lack, it creates lack. If you feed it images of wealth, it creates wealth. This is why listening to wealth frequencies or affirmations while you sleep is so powerful. These sounds, vibrations, and words bypass your conscious resistance. They enter directly into the subconscious, gently reshaping the patterns of belief that may have been holding you back for years. While the body rests, the mind is at work, aligning itself with new truths. Every repetition of wealth affirmations, every vibration of abundance, every statement of prosperity being played during sleep is a seed falling into the fertile soil of your subconscious. Over time, these seeds take root and grow stronger than any old pattern of lack. What you believe in the day may falter, but what is programmed in the night holds steady. For the subconscious never sleeps. The hours of sleep are sacred because they are hours of surrender. In waking life, the conscious mind clings tightly to its opinions, doubts, and fears. It analyzes, questions, and often resists the higher truths of abundance. But in sleep the walls come down, and the heart is open. The vibrations of wealth can then penetrate deeply, rewriting old scripts and opening new channels. Many people do not realize that the prosperity they desire is being delayed not by the absence of opportunity, but by the presence of old beliefs. Sleep allows those beliefs to be replaced effortlessly, quietly, without struggle. You need not fight your mind, you need only to feed it with truth as you sleep. Think of sleep as the night gardener of your destiny. While you rest, the gardener works silently, tending to the seeds you have planted. If the seeds are rich with faith, gratitude, and expectancy, then by morning the garden of your life begins to bloom with opportunities, connections, and ideas that lead to wealth. You may call it coincidence, but it is simply divine law bringing forth what was planted. That sudden inspiration you wake with, that unexpected message, that opportunity arising in your day, all of it is the outgrowth of the seeds planted in the subconscious during sleep. When you understand this law, you will no longer let yourself fall asleep with worry or fear. You will see the danger in carrying the burdens of the day into your night. Instead, you will treat sleep as a sacred ritual of wealth creation. You will choose words of abundance, pictures of prosperity, affirmations of success to carry with you into your rest. You will play sounds of wealth frequencies, knowing that they are watering your seeds. You will imagine yourself already living the life you desire, and you will drift into slumber as if it were already true. This is the key to waking with new energy, new magnetism, new alignment with wealth. The subconscious does not argue, it accepts. This is why what you listen to, what you think about, and what you visualize before sleeping is so important. If you fall asleep replaying fears, the subconscious takes those fears as instructions. But if you fall asleep with words of wealth, it takes those words as law and sets about manifesting them. You can transform your entire financial destiny by mastering the last few minutes before sleep. Those minutes are the doorway to the subconscious, and whatever enters that doorway determines the quality of your tomorrow. Wealth frequencies carry vibrations that speak directly to the language of the subconscious. They do not require analysis. They simply harmonize your inner state with abundance. As you sleep, they tune your mind like an instrument, aligning every thought, every feeling, every belief to the pitch of prosperity. Just as a musical note can shatter glass when it reaches resonance, so can the vibration of wealth shatter the old glass ceiling of limitation in your life. The subconscious holds the power, and vibration is the key that unlocks it. When you sleep in alignment with wealth, your dreams may even change. You may begin to dream of money, of opportunities, of freedom, of joy. These dreams are not random. They are signs that the subconscious is being reprogrammed. Dreams are the language of the subconscious, and when they turn toward prosperity, you know that the soil has received the seed. Each night deepens the transformation. Each morning brings you closer to a life where wealth flows easily, naturally, and continually. Sleep is not wasted time, it is sacred time. It is the most powerful state of alignment, because in it you surrender, and in surrender, divine law moves without resistance. By planting seeds of prosperity in your subconscious each night, you harness this sacred state to build the life you desire. The wealthy do not become wealthy by chance. They carry wealth consciousness. And wealth consciousness is built in the quiet hours, in the unseen work of the mind, in the fertile soil of sleep. Affirmations and wealth frequencies reprogram the mind to magnetize abundance. The mind is like a magnet, always attracting into your life the images, beliefs, and vibrations you hold most strongly. Every thought is a seed, every word a decree, every inner picture a blueprint. If you fill your mind with thoughts of scarcity, lack, and struggle, you will inevitably see these conditions reflected in your outer world. But when you fill your mind with affirmations of prosperity, gratitude, and abundance, you shift the magnet of your being, and life must respond with experiences that align with those thoughts. The law is exact like attracts like. What you dwell upon grows, and what you declare with conviction takes shape in your world. Affirmations are more than words spoken into the air. They are commands to the subconscious, instructions to the unseen forces that shape reality. Each affirmation is a seed planted in the fertile soil of the mind, and with repetition, it takes root and begins to bear fruit. When you say to yourself, "I am one with infinite abundance," you are not merely wishing, you are aligning with divine law, declaring truth, and allowing that truth to reshape your inner vibration. Over time, the subconscious accepts this truth, and it begins to magnetize conditions that match it. Opportunities that were once invisible appear. People who carry answers and resources cross your path. Ideas flow into your mind with clarity. Affirmations change the inner frequency, and the outer world harmonizes with that new song. Wealth frequencies are the companion to affirmations. While affirmations use the power of words, frequencies use the power of vibration. Everything in the universe vibrates, and wealth has its own vibration. When you listen to sounds designed to harmonize with abundance, your mind and body begin to attune to that frequency. Just as tuning forks vibrate in harmony when one is struck, your subconscious vibrates in harmony with wealth when it is exposed to the right frequencies. Over time, your entire being begins to resonate with prosperity, and this resonance calls forth matching experiences in the world around you. Reprogramming the mind requires persistence. Old patterns of lack may have been built over many years through repeated thoughts of fear, limitation, and doubt. These patterns can feel strong, but they are not permanent. They are simply habits of thought, and any habit can be replaced by a new one. Affirmations repeated daily with faith act like water wearing down a stone. At first, they may feel weak, but with persistence, they carve new channels in the subconscious. Wealth frequencies accelerate this process, because they bypass resistance and bring the mind into alignment more quickly. Together, Affirmations and frequencies are like a gardener sowing seed and rain nourishing the soil. One without the other may still bring results, but combined, they produce a harvest more quickly and more abundantly. Consider how many people live unconsciously repeating affirmations of lack. They say, "I never have enough money. Life is unfair. Success is hard." And they believe these words. Each statement reinforces scarcity. Without realizing it, they are affirming poverty into existence. Their minds become magnets for struggle, and their lives reflect it faithfully. This is why it is so vital to choose affirmations consciously, to direct your words toward wealth and abundance, to speak only that which aligns with prosperity. When you declare, "I always have more than enough. Money flows to me easily and continually. I am a magnet for wealth," you are undoing years of negative programming and replacing it with truth. The subconscious does not question whether your affirmations are true. It simply accepts what is repeated with feeling. If you say it often enough, with conviction and belief, the subconscious takes it as reality, and once it believes, it sets in motion everything necessary to make it visible in your life. This is why repetition is so important. A single affirmation spoken once is like scattering a seed on hard ground. Repeated affirmations are like planting that seed deep, watering it daily, and giving it sunlight until it grows strong roots. Wealth frequencies act as the sun and rain that nurture the seed, ensuring it grows quickly and fully. Affirmations also train the conscious mind. Each time you declare abundance, you are training your awareness to see opportunities instead of obstacles, to notice blessings instead of problems, to expect wealth instead of lack. The conscious and subconscious then work together in harmony, one directing attention, the other drawing circumstances. This unified focus is powerful, and it makes you magnetic to abundance in ways that feel effortless. Where before you may have missed a chance, now you notice it instantly. Where before you may have doubted your ability, now you step forward in confidence. Where before you may have attracted lack, now you attract plenty. Wealth frequencies work on a deeper, energetic level. Even without words, they create shifts in your energy field. When you listen, your body relaxes, your mind opens, your resistance softens, and you become receptive to higher states of consciousness. This receptivity is the key, for in it you allow abundance to flow without blockage. Many people strive for wealth with effort and struggle, but their inner frequency is out of harmony, so their effort produces little. When you are tuned to the frequency of wealth, however, even small actions bring great results. You may take one step, and doors swing open. You may make one call, and success arrives. The frequency draws the right people, places, and events, so your path becomes smoother and easier. Affirmations also build faith. Each time you declare abundance, you are strengthening the muscle of belief. At first, you may say it and feel doubt, but as you persist, the doubt fades and faith grows. Faith is the key that unlocks the storehouse of supply. With faith, you need not worry about how or when wealth will come. You simply know it is on its way. This knowing releases anxiety and fear, which are the greatest blocks to abundance. The more you affirm, the more your faith grows, and the more wealth flows naturally. Reprogramming the mind is like transforming a garden. If weeds have been allowed to grow for years, it takes time and persistence to clear them. But once cleared and replaced with healthy plants, the garden becomes a place of beauty and nourishment. The mind is the same. Affirmations and wealth frequencies pull out the weeds of doubt and replace them with the flowers of abundance. Each day the garden grows more vibrant, and soon your outer world reflects the inner transformation. The great truth is that abundance is not created by effort alone, but by alignment. Affirmations and frequencies are tools of alignment. They bring your mind, your heart, and your spirit into harmony with prosperity. Once aligned, abundance comes not as a struggle but as a natural expression of who you are. You no longer chase wealth, you magnetize it. You no longer beg for opportunities, they find you. You no longer live in fear of loss, you live in confidence of supply. This is the power of reprogramming the mind with affirmations and wealth frequencies, and it is available to anyone who will practice it with faith and persistence. Prosperity flows without struggle when you rest in faith and acceptance of divine supply. The The world has conditioned many to believe that wealth only comes through strain, endless labor, and relentless effort. But divine law reveals a greater truth. Abundance is not earned through struggle, but received through alignment. The river does not strain to flow, it simply moves with ease, because its nature is to flow. In the same way, prosperity flows to the one who is aligned with the truth of infinite supply. When you rest in faith, you remove the barriers of fear and resistance that block the natural current of abundance. Faith is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, the invisible and the visible, the spiritual substance and the material expression. Acceptance is the act of opening your hands to receive what has already been given. Many live as if prosperity must be fought for, as though only a chosen few can experience it. But the law is impartial. The same law that brings sunlight to the flowers and rain to the fields is the law that brings prosperity to you. There is no favoritism in divine law, only alignment. When you rest in faith, you declare silently, I trust the process, I trust the timing, I trust that all my needs are met. This trust is not passive. It is a dynamic force that dissolves resistance. Worry is a signal to the subconscious that there is lack, and the subconscious reproduces lack accordingly. Faith is a signal to the subconscious that there is supply, and the subconscious manifests supply accordingly. What you believe in your innermost being sets the pattern for what you receive in life. Acceptance is equally vital. Many block prosperity not because supply is unavailable, but because they have unconsciously refused to accept it. They feel unworthy, guilty, or doubtful, and these feelings close the doors of abundance. Acceptance is saying within yourself, I am worthy of wealth. I am ready for abundance. I am open to receive. When you accept your divine right to prosperity, you create a clear channel for supply to flow. Just as a cup must be open to be filled, so must your mind and heart be open to receive the flow of abundance. Faith prepares the channel, acceptance keeps it open. Resting in faith does not mean inactivity. It means inspired activity. Struggle is action born of fear, but inspired action is born of trust. Struggle says, I must make it happen or I will fail. Faith says, I am guided, and the right opportunities will unfold before me. Struggle drains energy, but inspired action multiplies it. Struggle creates anxiety, but inspired action creates joy. When you rest in faith, you no longer waste energy on worry, and this freed energy flows into creativity, clarity, and productivity. You find yourself in the right place at the right time, guided to decisions that bring prosperity effortlessly. Think of the tree in the field. It does not struggle to grow, nor does it worry about the sun or the rain. It simply rests in the law of nature, and by doing so, it receives everything it needs to grow tall and strong. In the same way, you do not need to struggle for prosperity, you need only to rest in the law of abundance, trusting that the divine supply is already flowing. When you are aligned, the right resources come, the right people appear, the right doors open, and what once seemed impossible becomes possible. The struggle was only ever in the mind, not in the law. When you rest in faith, prosperity begins to feel natural, not forced. Money flows in unexpected ways. Opportunities arise without pressure. Solutions come with ease. The difference is not in the outer world but in your inner state. The same circumstances that once felt heavy and difficult now feel light and manageable, because you have shifted from resistance to trust. Divine supply is unlimited and unchanging. It is your alignment that determines how much of it you experience. When you resist with fear, you block the flow. When you rest in faith, you open the floodgates. Many are caught in the cycle of toil, because they have believed that only through effort can they be worthy of wealth. But worthiness is not earned, it is inherent. You were created abundant. Wealth is your birthright, because you are part of an infinite universe that holds nothing back. To believe otherwise is to live in illusion. When you claim your worthiness and accept abundance without guilt, you honor the divine source from which it flows. Prosperity is not selfish, it is an expression of divine order. When you prosper, you are able to give more, to serve more, to uplift more. Resting in faith is not only for your benefit, but for the blessing of all those whose lives you touch. The mind trained in struggle will always find reasons to fear. It will say, what if the money does not come? What if I fail? What if I lose? But the mind trained in faith will answer, what if everything I need is already on its way? What if success is certain because the law is unchanging? What if abundance is my natural state? Faith does not argue with appearances, it declares truth in spite of them. Acceptance does not wait for conditions to change, it embraces prosperity as present now. When you live in this state, appearances must eventually conform, for the outer always follows the inner. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It is the bridge between desire and manifestation. The moment you choose to believe that prosperity is yours, even if no outer evidence supports it, you set into motion the forces of divine supply. The evidence will follow. But the belief must come first. This is why resting in faith is more powerful than all the struggle in the world. Struggle without faith leads only to exhaustion, but faith without struggle leads to effortless flow. The world admires hard labor, but divine law rewards inner alignment. Acceptance is also an act of gratitude. When you accept prosperity as already yours, you naturally give thanks for it. Gratitude is a magnet, drawing more of what you are grateful for. To say thank you for money before it arrives is to show the universe that you already trust the supply. This trust accelerates manifestation. Gratitude opens the heart, and an open heart receives more easily. Each time you give thanks for your abundance, you deepen your alignment with it. The current of prosperity is like a river flowing continually. You do not need to build the river, nor do you need to force it to flow. You need only to step into it and allow it to carry you. Struggle is like trying to swim against the current. You exhaust yourself and go nowhere. Faith is like floating with the current. You move effortlessly toward your destination. Acceptance is the act of letting go of the shore and trusting the river to carry you. Once you are in the flow, prosperity carries you farther and faster than struggle ever could. Awakening rich is the natural result of harmonizing with the vibration of wealth. Wealth is not something that must be forced into existence by endless toil, but something that unfolds when your inner state is in harmony with abundance. The universe is composed of vibration, and every experience in your life resonates with the frequency you carry within. When you harmonize with the vibration of wealth, you become a living magnet for prosperity, attracting money, opportunities, and success with ease. Awakening rich is not a sudden miracle that appears without cause, but the inevitable outworking of the law of resonance. Just as a musical note causes another string tuned to the same pitch to vibrate, your inner alignment with wealth causes outer circumstances of wealth to appear. To awaken rich, you must first see wealth not as a distant dream, but as a present reality in the unseen. Every fortune, every blessing, every opportunity exists first in the invisible realm of spirit before it appears in the material world. When you tune your mind to the vibration of plenty, you claim that invisible reality, and the visible world rearranges itself to match. This is why some live in constant struggle while others seem to prosper with little effort. The difference is not luck but vibration. Those who align with wealth attract it, while those who hold fear and scarcity in their minds repel it. The law is exact, and it never fails. Harmonizing with wealth requires a shift in thought, emotion, and belief. Every thought of lack lowers your vibration, while every thought of abundance raises it. Every word of complaint shuts the door, while every word of gratitude opens it wide. Every feeling of fear blocks the current, while every feeling of joy allows it to flow. You harmonize with wealth by training your thoughts to dwell on plenty, your words to affirm prosperity, and your emotions to rest in gratitude. When your entire being vibrates in harmony with wealth, it cannot help but flow to you. Awakening rich then becomes a natural outcome, not a forced pursuit. Consider the tuning of a radio. When the dial is turned to the right frequency, the music comes through clearly, but if the dial is off even slightly, there is static. Your mind works the same way. Wealth is always broadcasting its frequency, but you must tune yourself to receive it. If you are tuned to fear, worry, or scarcity, all you hear is static. But when you align with faith, gratitude, and abundance, the channel clears, and the song of wealth plays through your life without distortion. Awakening rich is simply the result of being tuned correctly to the vibration of prosperity. This harmony also extends to the actions you take. When you are aligned with wealth, the actions you take are guided, efficient, and fruitful. You may take fewer steps but achieve greater results, because each step is in rhythm with divine order. When you are out of harmony, even great effort produces little, because the vibration behind it is one of struggle and fear. To awaken rich, you must act not from desperation but from inspiration, not from anxiety but from certainty, not from scarcity but from abundance. Actions aligned with wealth vibration carry a magnetic quality that draws success naturally. Harmonizing with wealth also requires you to release resistance. Resistance is created by doubt, fear, and limiting beliefs that whisper you are not worthy, that money is hard, that success belongs only to others. These beliefs create disharmony, pulling you out of alignment with prosperity. To awaken rich, you must let go of these illusions and replace them with truth. You are worthy of abundance, because you are one with infinite supply. Money is not hard to receive when you are in harmony with the flow. Success is not limited to a few but is the natural result of alignment. The more you release resistance, the more freely wealth flows into your life. Awakening rich is also the awakening of awareness. It is realizing that prosperity is not something outside you, but something that begins within. When you awaken to the truth that abundance is already present, you stop chasing and start allowing. You recognize that every blessing flows from your inner vibration, and so you take care to cultivate that vibration daily, through affirmations, visualization, gratitude, and listening to wealth frequencies. You keep your mind tuned to prosperity. Each day the alignment deepens, and each day you awaken to greater wealth, both in spirit and in form. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools for harmonizing with wealth. Every time you give thanks for what you have, you increase your vibration. Every time you celebrate the money already in your life, however small, you open the door for more to come. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present, and in doing so, it aligns you with abundance. When you go to sleep with gratitude and wake with gratitude, you live in harmony with wealth all day long. Gratitude transforms your energy into a magnet, drawing prosperity to you in ways you could never have imagined. Awakening rich also means awakening to generosity. True wealth is not hoarded but circulated. Money, like energy, must flow. When you give freely, whether through kindness, service, or financial support, you prove to your subconscious that you live in abundance. Giving breaks the illusion of scarcity and deepens your harmony with the flow of wealth. The universe responds to circulation with multiplication, returning what you give many times over. Those who fear to give remain stuck in scarcity, but those who give joyfully awaken to ever-increasing riches. The vibration of wealth is one of confidence, joy, peace, and freedom. When you carry these states of being, you are aligned with prosperity. When you carry fear, worry, or desperation, you are out of tune. Awakening rich requires you to guard your inner state, to choose peace over fear, joy over despair, confidence over doubt. Each choice raises your vibration. Each choice draws wealth closer. Over time, these choices become your natural state, and abundance becomes your natural experience. Awakening rich is not only about money, but about the richness of life itself. When you harmonize with wealth, you awaken to health, relationships, opportunities, creativity, and freedom. You see beauty where before you saw lack. You experience joy where before you felt burden. You walk with confidence where before you hesitated. Money is only one expression of wealth, but when you are in harmony with the vibration of abundance, all areas of your life flourish. The richness of life surrounds you, and you awaken each day to more of it. The truth is that wealth is already present, already flowing, already available. The only question is whether you are in harmony with it. Awakening rich is not about waiting for a miracle tomorrow. It is about aligning today. When your vibration matches the frequency of prosperity, the results cannot be denied. Opportunities arise, money flows, blessings multiply, and life begins to reflect the wealth you carry within. It is not chance, not luck, not accident. It is law. When you harmonize with wealth, awakening rich is inevitable.